At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Edge on TV, Nigerians' leading initiative in the business of brand management and management of brand business. It is a 30 minutes wholesome package that comprises brand news, branding focus, and industry conversation, all in a mix encompassing thorough and in-depth aimed at promoting the brand idea. I'm Ogale Abikele Mafro.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Good to have you back. First to Marketing Edge on TV, it's brand news where we bring you the latest occurrences around brands and in the field of marketing, advertising, and communication in Nigeria and around the world. Now on brand news. Following the recent directive of the Advertising Regulatory Agency of Nigeria, ALCON, to begin the enforcement of the law on digital contents across all social media platforms effective from March 1st, 2023, the Advertising Regulatory Agency of Nigeria, ALCON, has stated that it is only regulating advertising, advertisements, and marketing communications in line with the statutory mandate as stipulated in the advertising law. Speaking exclusively to Marketing Edge, the Director General of the EPES Regulatory Agency, Olalekan Fadolapo, revealed that the directive is aimed at eliminating unverified claims, materials that are unfit for public consumption, as well as to ensure that all forms of marketing communications on social media conforms to the ethical standards of advertising as entrenched in the ALCON law. According to the ALCON DG, the directive is sequel to the incessant use of social media platforms to disseminate unvetted marketing communications that escaped the traditional media. According to the ALCON law, all advertisement, advertising, and marketing communications must be submitted to the Advertising Standards Panel ASP for approval before exposure. Latest industry report has revealed that payment transactions through digital platforms have been projected to reach $14.25 billion this year, with an annual growth rate of 13.69%, resulting in a projected total amount of $23.81 billion by 2027. According to Statista, a research platform in Germany, the market's largest segment is digital commerce, with a projected total transaction value of $12.26 billion in 2023. Duplo, a B2B payment platform, revealed that the market for B2B payments was estimated to be worth $903.50 billion in 2021 and is anticipated to reach $1,618.15 trillion by 2028, with a compound annual growth rate of 10.20%. It added that B2B cross-border payment transactions are also projected to exceed $42 trillion in 2026. In 2022, the cloud-based accounts payable software market was valued at $2,727.89 million, and it is projected that the market will grow at a compound annual growth rate of 7.8%, reaching $4,280.94 million by 2028. Global media buying business has been projected to grow from $75.98 billion in 2022 to $79.48 billion in 2023 at a compound annual growth rate of 4.6%. According to Report Linker, an award-winning marketing research solution, the media buying agencies and representative firms market is expected to grow at $92.45 billion in 2027 at a compound annual growth rate of 3.9%. North America was the largest region in the media buying agencies and representative firms market in 2021, while Western Europe was the second largest region in the media agency and representative firms market. The regions covered in the media buying agencies and representative firms market report are Asia Pacific, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, North America, South America, Middle East, and Africa. Fintech revenue in Africa is expected to reach $230 billion by 2025 as tech startup continues to dominate the financial service sector, offering easy and accessible payment solutions to customers. According to McKinsey and Company, Africa's fintech industry is growing rapidly in the wake of political and economic challenges and a global pandemic, adding that as the fastest growing startup industry in Africa, it raised over $13 billion in 2021. It is expected that the growth opportunity in fintech is likely to be concentrated in 11 markets, namely Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Senegal, South Africa, Tanzania, and Uganda, which together account for 70% of African GDP and half of its population. Meanwhile, fintech revenue in Nigeria is expected to reach $14,250,000 in 2023. The report added that despite these growth projections, the fintech industry will still grapple with 4 key challenges on the road to sustainability, which are reaching scale and profitability, navigating an uncertain regulatory environment, managing scarcity, and building robust corporate governance foundations. Well, that was brand news. Next is branding focus after this break.
Where is Glory?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello? Oh, where Glow now?
I dare you.
Don't Glow, don't go village. Tell all our customer.
Everybody pay attention. See, now Glow dedicated 10x. Now they dash me 10 times the credits when I load. Can't even summer me double data join.
Yeah. Wait, so with 1.5 when they give all of us, so you they enjoy up to 15,000 naira credit and data.
And I say I never finish you. See, now say if we enjoy, if we not join Glow dedicated 10x, when I go get 1,000 naira welcome credit. You just carry your phone, dial *777#. Finish.
Oh, correct.
Glow, you don't win. You don't do.
Una still dey here. Hello, please, I'm looking for Glow.
We said now Glow be dey fine. Now Glow be dey go.
Okay, so
Enjoy 10 times the value of your recharge on Glow Berekete 10X. You also get 1,000 naira for calls and data and double data bonus on your subscription.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Now on brand in focus. No brand wants to waste its budget on an irrelevant audience. A brand's reputation risks being tarnished in the eyes of consumers if its advert appears alongside misinformation or near harmful content. While the evolution of technology has facilitated exciting new capabilities, malicious players in the marketing and advertising ecosystem are also capitalizing on these opportunities for their own ends. As a result, digital media is facing an arms race between the AI that is helping to generate fake content and the AI that is combating it. False content has obvious ramifications for brands. If their advertising appears adjacent to misinformation, they can be perceived to be endorsing it, which damages trust with key customers. In addition, media spend takes a big hit if advertising campaigns wind up next to harmful content, as precious inventory is wasted, crucial audiences are missed, and return on investment plummets. In 2019, the Global Alliance for Responsible Media was launched and has been working to improve brand and user safety by addressing harmful content on digital media platforms and its monetization via advertising. The Global Alliance for Responsible Media has recently expanded its guidelines to include guidance on misinformation, which defines it as the presence of viable, false, and willful misleading content that is directly connected to user or societal harm. The danger of misinformation and its wide-reaching consequences for society and brands prompted the Global Alliance for Responsible Media to introduce it as a category within the Brand Safety Flaw and Suitability Framework in 2022. This has helped brands to become more aware of the importance of monitoring misinformation and has provided key, unified guidelines for identifying, demonetizing it during the media planning, targeting, and optimization process. What's more, There has been a disturbingly rapid rise of deepfake videos in recent years, with their numbers doubling every 6 months since observation from December 2018. Deepfakes are made using a form of AI called deep learning to create images of false events. They can take the form of videos and images and can even be applied to voices to mimic a person's speech. Needless to say, these fake videos can take a dark turn as they are often created with malevolent intentions. In all, it's important to keep teams of human moderators involved at all times throughout the process. As efficient as AI is at learning to detect misinformation, there's still no replacement for the human mind. By checking the judgments made by AI systems, human moderators add an extra layer of validity and ensure the military system is robust.
Well, that was Branding Focus. Next is Industry Conversation, where we have interactions with distinguished personalities in the business of brand management. Well, this week we have with us the Manager of Brand Marketing and Communication at INLAKS, Mr. DIPO MOHAMMED, after this break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
Hello and welcome to Industry Conversation, a segment on Marketing Edge on TV, where we have interactions with distinguished personalities in the business of brand management. Well, today we have with us Mr. DIPO MOHAMMED, the Manager of Brands Marketing and Communication at INLAKS. You're welcome to Marketing
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you. Yes. DIPO MOHAMMED is the Manager of Brands Marketing and Communications at INLAKS, a foremost ICT infrastructure and systems integrator in sub-Saharan Africa. He oversees strategic insight and integrated communication for the organization. He has expertise and experience in ICT, health infrastructure, finance, research, oil and gas, aviation, just to mention a few. You're welcome again to Industry Conversation, sir.
So glad to be here.
Well, I would like you to give us an assessment of the Nigerian marketing communications industry.
Yeah, I think the marketing communications industry has grown over time, thanks to the growth of digital technology. There's been more opportunities for people to have sources of income beyond having to wake up in the morning and going to offices. People who are creative can now operate from their own spaces. However, beyond that, of course, we still have the agencies who are playing very impactful role. I think over the years, these agencies have been able to groom a lot of people, including me, who have gone over to the client side and are doing a lot of great stuff. So I think that we still have more opportunities. I just think that what we need to do is to ensure training for younger people, because we already have the brain drain syndrome. People live in the country. So it's making it a bit challenging for people to come into that space. So the people who are in that space, people like me and, some of my, contemporaries and seniors, we need to focus on ensuring that younger people get trained better.
Okay, so talking about upskilling, we see the impact of technology in the entire marketing ecosystem.
Yes.
But what are the opportunities that you can identify for professionals? Yeah,
so there are so much opportunities because, as you know, there are segments of marketing, right? There are PR, there's advertising, there is digital marketing, and much more. So the opportunities, like I mentioned earlier, is the fact that people can now make revenue, beyond having to subscribe to working for this person or that person. Secondly, is the fact that it creates opportunity for economic growth. Because while people set up small businesses, SMEs, really contribute to economic development. So the marketing communication space that way is also is also improving the economy. Now, if you look at the basis or numbers of unemployment, for every person who is able to use the opportunity to create something for himself, is one number reduced from amongst the people that are unemployed. So there is, employment opportunities. There is economic development. There is also the fact that the marketing communications industry can be rest assured that you have good hands. So like I mentioned, training earlier. So we are quite optimistic, and with advent of technology also, we look forward to even greater opportunities.
So what would you identify as the major shift for the marketing communication ecosystem last year?
So the major shift was the fact that there's an upspring of younger people. People are redefining careers in marketing communications, and still I would still say again, thanks to digital technology, because what would probably take some people 10, 15 years, positions it will take 10, 15 years to get to. You now have access, because of digital technology, you have access to knowledge, on, various social media platforms, on how to do these things. You can see young people, who are creating organizations that are now even, servicing, big brands, which was not obtainable before. Before you start some of these big brands, you need to be a big name. But now, brands are now looking at, the fact that you can deliver. So those are really big things, for the marketing, comms industry.
So I see that you have a background in ICT. So can you highlight some of the new technologies that you say have, changed the way we do business as marketers?
Yeah, so there are so many, but let me pinpoint TikTok, for instance. Before now, businesses will focus on other platforms, Instagram, Facebook, but now we have a pool of Gen Zs who are more attuned to, TikTok, for instance, and then, TikTok has now become a very good leverage, for, business owner. That's a huge improvement. Mm-hmm. So the things that go on these platforms are redefining how brands should communicate to consumers, right? So I would say TikTok has been very effective. Then secondly, maybe you can look at Twitter Spaces. You have more opportunities for people, of like backgrounds to come around, have conversations. And because we're in the marketing communications industry, it's very important to hear or to know about people's opinions. So these kind of platforms, create, those chances. I just want to restrict it to social media because it brings people together faster. And of course, brands want to see more people, more of their audiences. Yeah. So I think TikTok has been phenomenal. And then, Twitter Spaces as well.
Okay, what would you say about virtual reality and other immersive means of communicating, of course, engaging consumers, such as artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so for those ones, I think, marketing communication, practitioners, we're still taking our time to see, how these things, will become effective, especially in the next 5, 10 years. Because in as much as we are pushing these things, we also need to be able to create those lines where humans come in and where, all this, kind of technology also play, right? So for me, I think that all of that brings, a lot of opportunity. However, as marketing practitioners, we really need to take our time before, we start, putting these things into, effective use. It's a good way, to approach life from a different perspectives. The way we talk about metaverse and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's very, important for us to plan, strategize, look at how these things can work for brands. The fact that, these technologies are here does not mean that, we should jump on it, right? So we just need to take our time to strategize and see, especially in the industries that particular practitioners play, how it's going to be effective for them. Okay,
we see that advertising spend is shifting rapidly to digital forms of media. What does this trend portend for the traditional media?
I think depending on the product or service that you are putting out, it is what determines the impact it's going to have. But I think majorly a lot of the brands that are shifting to digital are brands, of course, who majority of their brands are in that space. I probably don't want to talk about COVID, but then it was a blessing and it was a challenging time. However, it has opened people to the fact that there is a whole lot more we can achieve beyond that, because it was during this COVID period organizations had to rethink how they advertise, how they meet their people, because some of even though COVID is not here with us not in this climate with us anymore. some of these things that it has birthed is what organizations are using now, and they are making profits. So I think it's a real good development. People naturally are now in the digital space, even after those periods, in terms of work, in terms of life, in terms of networking. So it's a good development, because even the consumers now understand that that is a pattern for the brands. So it's easier for brands because now they know where to meet their consumers, and it's easier for consumers because they know where to get their products and service information from the brands as well. So it's a two-way thing, right? The brand is acting, the consumer is responding, the consumer is responding, the brand is acting.
Okay, for professionals now, how can they leverage digital capabilities as well as the different forms of tech innovations to optimize marketing spend?
So there are very different ways that they can do that. But if you look at some of these immersive technologies, some of them are quite expensive. So it might not be what every organization can use. So it really depends on your marketing power. And because organizations are always thinking about return on investment, so we're always careful where we want to put our money and where we don't want to put our money. And just like I spoke about immersive technology, we still need to take some time to see how some of these things will be of effective impact to the organization. But presently, the digital space is still safer. Like it's that middle space or that leeway where organizations know, oh, we have a good understanding of these parts, and it's much more predictable than other forms of technology. However, it's just about planning, strategizing, and also putting into mind business sustainability, because in the next 5-10 years it might be the new thing for organization, right? Depending on how the people behind it are even able to simplify it for brands and consumers to communicate, right? So there are so many opportunities in there, but I think that organizations and brands and practitioners need to be a bit patient, before we start to make all that. I mean, there's just to be some testing, and let's see how it goes. But for now, the digital space is safer.
Another thing that came alongside with the digital space is the fact that we now have overwhelming content for consumption.
Yes.
And then you see the consumer also having a very shortened attention span. So how can practitioners navigate this challenge?
Okay, so the thing about humans is humans will always show interest in what they like, right? So, but how brands can navigate that, I keep saying, is when brands are able to prove to consumers that we are ready to be part of your lifestyle, right? You have goals, you have ambitions, you have aspirations. Our brand is ready to support it. So it depends on how they are now able to communicate this message. Once the consumer is able to get this message of this brand is supporting my lifestyle, is supporting my growth, is supporting that, my aspiration, naturally, consumers tilt towards, the use of those brands, right? So it's just about understanding your target audience more and how you can deliver to them to make them appreciative of, your brand, and then live better as well.
Okay, we're currently experiencing a recession, an economic challenge that has forced brands to rethink their business models. Some of them are even cut back on advertising budget. So how can practitioners now, encourage, clients to spend, because it's necessary for them to spend to get the marketing objectives attained.
Yeah.
So what can marketers do to prove the value that they offer to clients, especially with all of this inflation and economic challenges?
Yeah, so every good business person wants return on investment, right? So if you're able to prove to a client, through your ideas or strategic approach that their business can be sustained in the midst of recession. So it really goes or it really speaks rather to the kind of approaches you are able to propose, right? If it's economical, and if it's going to be effective, and efficient. There's really it's really not about the marketers telling the client to spend, but there's a way to tell them to spend indirectly, right? And that is by, because even when you are presenting those things to them, you need to make them know that you understand what is going on. You understand the recession. For instance, last year there was a whole lot of, forex issues for a lot of companies in Nigeria, especially those, who were not, or who were making bulk of their money in foreign currencies. There was, a huge one for them. So, so management of organizations in that situation, it won't be easy telling them to spend. Maybe they even made the loss the previous year, so it won't be easy. But it's part of what the marketer should do in terms of the ideas, your approach, your strategy. You just be able to prove to the organization that their business can be sustained because of this approach, because of that approach, and then you are showing them why, right? Okay. So, but all of these things, like I said, still boils down to whatever the client intends to do, but the marketer can only go that far.
All right. Thank you so much for having this time with us on Industry Conversation.
It's a pleasure.
Such a great time with you.
Same here.
And that's it on Marketing Edge on TV this week. Do well to join the same time next week for another interactive time. I'm Ogali Abikele Mafru. See you again.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show.
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
With the array of stories that matter and what's behind them.
As you say, the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated,
if you don't use it, it's waste. We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
Are you saying that there was nothing wrong in that?
Was he the one driving the taxi?
Answer the question.
Reveal your morning with all you need to know.
Like the
yes, just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties right now?
No chief of staff, no general has the right to call a governor to order. The governor has been elected by his people.
Start your day right, because this is the breakfast show that adds to your breakfast. TVC Breakfast, weekdays at 7 a.m. only on TVC News.
Housing is fundamental to the physical, mental, social well-being and quality of life. In Nigeria, a large proportion of people live in slums and unplanned settlement because of their inability to own a house or rent decent accommodation. On this program, I analyze the challenges affecting the housing sector with stakeholders to provide solutions.
I don't think that anybody can pretend that we're going to close the 17 million homes gap in 5 years.
Each episode gives an insight into the housing plight of Nigerians.
The gate man here needs a house as much as the millionaire who is driving past there needs a house.
How can the housing sector be made better? Would the dream of owning a house by an average Nigerian be achieved? What strategies are the government putting in place to provide affordable and decent housing for all? Let's bring you up to speed on the happenings in the housing sector. Keep it.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. DVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.